I have struck gold. Hey, welcome back to Soup, and today I'm going to be getting very small. How many of you have seen a bad low-budget movie? Show of hands, come on. No one? Seriously, no one? Well, I certainly have seen my fair share, and today I'd like to make a special addition to the bad ripoff / low-budget movie shelf. So you know how in Jaws the entire premise was they were dealing with an abnormally large shark that was like ripping their boat to pieces and whatnot? Well, what if you had to deal with a very small shark, a teeny weeny itsy bitsy itty bitty little shark? Harmless, right? Wrong. Apparently, it's a big deal, especially when that shark could explode out of you after a certain amount of time. What? So buckle up and let's talk about 2024's Canadian blockbuster hit, Nano Shark. So our movie opens with a few shots of some people at the beach partying, creepily zooming in on all the girls. Kind of creepy, not cool, guys. We could do better than that. But we also find out that there is, at this same beach, a submarine under the waters, lurking within the murky depths. And what is this submarine doing at this beach, you may be asking? They're looking for sharks. We also see that there is a shark lurking around in these depths. And oh no, it eats a swimmer. And then the captain of the little submarine remarks, "This is the perfect specimen. Let's grab this specimen." But you're probably asking, why are they even looking for a shark? What is the whole point of this? And just chill out, man. We're gonna get there. Chill. Get your panties out of a bunch. But first, an opening credit scene. And we get some cool 3D shots of like red blood cells and like syringes and other sciencey stuff. And as we're looking through the credits, is that Brett Kelly, directed by Brett Kelly, the same director of The Black Bat. What? Let's go! So yes, I did not know this before watching this movie, but apparently after watching Black Bat, my TV algorithm has been showing me a lot more like low budget movies, and I didn't realize that this was a Brett Kelly, a Brett Kelly classic, but here we are. Directed by Brett Kelly. What a treat. But after the opening credit scene, there's a press conference with the Prime Minister. Again, I don't know what country this is. If it's supposed to be the US, supposed to be Canada, who knows? But the Prime Minister's son is like not feeling well and he like kind of faints. And so his dad's like, let's get him to the hospital. And then there's a bunch of newscasters talking about how this is sending shockwaves through everybody. Fox Jeff Worthy. But then the Prime Minister and his wife are at the hospital and they talk to the funniest doctor. Okay, so you know how the Black Bat was kind of like not that funny? It was kind of funny in like a way because it was taking itself too seriously kind of a way. This movie is low-key kind of funny. I was very well surprised by this. Like just watch this interaction.
Mr. Prime Minister? Yes, doctor. How's my son doing? He doesn't look good. Well, I'm sure he'll grow into his features and be a fine-looking young man.
I mean, that's kind of funny. Dude, am I a fan of Brett Kelly?
What is life? Is any of this worth it? What is art? We live in a cruel world thrust into darkness. Oh my.
But the Prime Minister and his wife are talking to the doctor, and they find out that his son has developed a very rare blood disease. How rare, you ask?
Your son has a very rare blood disease.
How rare?
He's the first to ever get it. It's called Little Jimmy the Prime Minister's son's disease.
What are the odds?
1 in perhaps a million billion.
Little Jimmy the Prime Minister's blood disease. And so since this Little Jimmy the Prime Minister's blood disease is the only case that they know, it's the first case, it's rare, it's the only time this has ever happened, they don't have a cure for it with conventional methods. But what about unconventional methods?
So let's say that this is one of your son's veins.
This is one of your son's veins.
Perfect.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, that's kind of funny. Like, that's kind of funny.
Angry. Very angry, actually.
Angry blood disease. Grrr.
So if we have this shark, which is immune to the disease, enter the host, in this case, your son's bloodstream, we believe that its natural killing instincts would kick in. The shark would want to kill all the disease that it finds.
So, let's just recap this really quick. Make sure we're all on the same page. The Prime Minister's son has a blood disease. There's no conventional modern medicine cure. Solution: shrink down a shark to kill the disease, shrink down a submarine to get the shark, and then within 36 hours, pee the shark out, tomato, tomato, potato, potato, it's all good. But if they don't get out within 36 hours, they will explode out of the sun, killing him when everything returns to full size. Bada bing, bada boom.
I don't think you should be worrying about this.
That a full-grown shark and a fully manned submarine could burst through my son's body?
Don't worry, this has never happened.
How many times have you done this procedure?
This will be the first. Which is why it's never happened.
And for whatever reason, they decide this is the only viable option. We must do this. And the parents agree. Also, apparently the space they're in is rented. There's a Sweet 16 party. They gotta get out of there. I don't know what that means. It's part of the story.
I'll start prepping the patient. We only have limited time here.
How long does my son have?
Well, it's not your son. We rented this space for only a few days. There's a Sweet 16 party here Thursday.
We then go to the laboratory and we see that there are 2 scientists preparing the shark that they've caught, like they did in the beginning of the movie, right at that opening scene, to shrink it so that way they can be used in this procedure. And one of the scientists is so excited that he smacks the other scientist on the butt, throwing him into the tank where the shark is being kept. And he can't grab him out because he's eating chicken wings with barbecue sauce on him, and so his hands have barbecue sauce, so apparently he can't pick him up. So he goes all the way to the bathroom to wash his hands and comes back to get the guy out, and he's too late. He's dead. And he blames the barbecue chicken wings. And then we get the new scientist who takes the other scientist's place, is just apparently like waiting off screen because, you know, why not? And they decide the only way to continue with this procedure is to cover up their murder by throwing the guy's hand and the chicken wing into the water. But now they're ready to shrink the shark so that way they can use it in the experiment. So they go through the shrinking process. It's a success.
For Jim.
For what's his name?
Now they have a microscopic shark in like a little syringe. Then the scientists decide to go somewhere, do something, I don't know, it doesn't really say. But then the room is empty and the janitor comes in to help tidy things up. And somehow, without knowing it, gets the syringe stuck in his butt. You know how I'm always getting syringes stuck in me because I can't feel. I don't have any feeling on my skin. That's just a normal thing, right? But the scientists come back and they're like, hey man, you see this syringe? And he's like, I haven't seen it, but I'll help you look for it. And as they're doing it, they see that it's stuck in his butt and they're like, oh my gosh, good thing we found it. And again, the same scientist, apparently this is his baseball reactions from when he was in baseball, has to smack the guy's butt and accidentally compresses the plunger, and now the shark is in the janitor's body, whose name is Keith. Not the shark, the janitor's name is Keith. So now they have to send in the extraction team to get the shark out of the dude that they just put the shark into. It's a whole mess. So they prep the sub and they get the sub into Keith, and they're like, all right, our job here is done. We just gotta wait till they get the extraction out and they come out. So we're gonna go grab pizza. And so they leave Keith alone and they go grab pizza. And Keith's like, screw this, I'm just gonna leave. And so then he walks all the way back to his house. And all the time during this, the submarine people are like trying to catch up with the shark. And they actually end up finding the shark and then having this like chicken with it. And they like smash into the submarine with the shark. They smash together and it leaves damage on the hull. Oh no, damage on the hull. But while this is happening, the janitor dude is just like messing around in the mirror with like Q-tips and stuff. Like, what is he doing? But after the damage happens to the hull, they decide that one of them has to come out in the extraction suit to fix the damage on the hull. But instead of the lady going out through the compression chamber, they go out through the torpedo chamber, so she just gets shot like a cannon into the bloodstream. What? Also during this time, Keith is like messing around and then he's like smacks his nose and he's got a little bloody nose, and then he starts like having to sneeze and he sneezes out the lady who got shot through the torpedo chamber, and then like accidentally kills her by wiping the blood that he sneezed out on the mirror. So she's just dead. But also when this happened, apparently the mucus, which how does the mucus get into the bloodstream? Whatever. The mucus like covered the ship, and so now the damage to the hull isn't a problem anymore because they've got boogers on them. I don't know. But after that whole sequence, Keith decides that he's gonna go, I don't know, do something else. And then there's a police car outside their house, his house, telling him that he needs to come with them because he's got experimental government property within him, which he does. But he decides, no way, Jose, I'm going to run through the neighborhood and get back to the laboratory myself. So he starts his journey. And while he's on his way, he runs into a couple who are grilling. And wait, who's that on the grill? None other than Brett Kelly, let's go! And we get on screen the legendary Brett Kelly once again. I'd like to believe this is just the Black Bat who's retired and he's living his life out with his wife. But they convince Keith that he needs to come and eat a bunch of hot dogs with them. And then they have this weird hot dog eating montage, which is definitely necessary to the, the plot of the movie. But then after a few hot dogs, uh-oh, something stinky. Keith is farting up a storm, so they say, boy, you better get out of here. But then Keith makes it all the way back to the laboratory, so that way he can get the extraction of the submarine and the shark that are living within his veins. But while this is happening, the remaining 2 crew members of the submarine decide that one of them has to get out to be able to lure the shark away so that they can make it to the bladder. Perfect, solid sense to me. But oh no, there was only one extraction suit. They only have another helmet, so the lady's gotta go out in her bikini. But come on, Brett Kelly, you're better than that. So the lady goes out to lure the shark away and straight up dies again. We have another death right now. This is the 3rd death from this shark in this movie already. So yeah, she got straight ate up. Through her sacrifice, they were able to start luring the shark to the bladder for extraction. And while that's happening, the scientists are getting Keith ready to expel the shark and submarine, which will be coming out of him momentarily. And so the submarine guy is luring the shark all the way to the bladder, and it's getting down to the wire. They only have a few minutes to pull this off, otherwise it's gonna explode and Keith is gonna die and get exploded. But right at the last second, they get to the bladder and Keith feels like he's gotta pee, and so he pees out the shark in the submarine, and everybody's safe and okay, and it's a happy clappy, woo! But, you may be wondering, what about the Prime Minister's kid, who needs the procedure and needs that shark that just got shot out and is now, like, probably flopping on the floor and dead? We get an answer to that.
Mr. Prime Minister?
Yes, doctor. How's my son doing?
Good.
It was just a bathroom thing.
It was just the bathroom thing? What? This is referring to, in the beginning of the movie, during the press conference, there's a little, like, piece on, like, the bottom of the screen that says, we are guessing it's just a bathroom thing. So apparently the Prime Minister's kid got constipated and just passed out. So where did they get this idea of the blood disease and the, what? How? What? But that's the end of the movie. That's Nano Shark. Absolute cinema. Oh yeah, just like the Black Bat movie, I made a video on that. Go ahead and check that out over there. This is not a full feature length film. It's only like an hour long. So again, calling it a movie is like, whatever. But I will say, there was actual moments in this movie where I genuinely like chuckled to myself because there was something funny happening. So I will say, Brett Kelly, good job with this one. I like this one. This one was kind of funny. So keep it up, man. I mean, you're only gonna get better from here. But yeah, I actually enjoyed this movie. Let me know if you know of any fun low budget movies that I could watch. I really like watching these low budget movies. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, I actually kind of enjoyed this one. So, no harm, no foul. But if you did enjoy, please consider subscribing, liking any of the other stuff that you want to do down there. And yeah, let me know if you guys like this kind of content. I really like the low budget, making fun of it, but also kind of exposing it to more people. Go watch the movie for yourself if you really are interested. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.